Candy is gracious enough to give us some information about Muddy Paws, correct?
Yes, Muddy Paws Second Chance Rescue.
Awesome. Okay, great. We so appreciate the time that you've been willing to give us and kind of to promote your rescue and tell us all about it. So we'll go through some questions, and if you have anything else to add, that would be awesome. Okay. So tell us a little bit about how
Great.
and why you got involved with this rescue.
My story is probably not unique. Everybody has a reason that they come to rescue. I actually was volunteering at the local shelter. Can you still hear me? I got
can.
an unstable.
Yeah.
Okay, got an unstable remark or a post on that screen. I was volunteering at a local shelter. I still volunteer there as well.
Okay.
And there happened to be a very vocal German Shepherd in a kennel, and she had just been surrendered by her family. And I went over to look at her, and she was in bad shape medically. You could tell she had a lot of allergies as soon as I looked at her. And so I contacted one of the trainers that Muddy Paws has, and she's also pretty much, we call her the Shepherd Whisperer. Julie Grady is her name. And I contacted her and I said, have you seen the train wreck of a shepherd at the local shelter? And she goes, oh, they've already called me about her. And that's kind of one of the ways we partner with the local community. And I know that's one of your questions.
Yeah.
But anyway, she said, Candy, we can help her if we can find a foster for her. And so we ended up fostering her at my house, and then I actually adopted her. So
Awesome.
That's how I got started originally with Muddy Paws.
Okay.
I've since done other activities with the rescue and kind of dabbled in different parts or portions of the rescue since.
Okay, that's awesome. Is this, so basically you've kind of answered the question, but is this mainly the rescue that you work with now, or do you help with any other rescues?
I still volunteer at the local shelter. I walk dogs. I'm a dog walker, and I learn a lot of skills there because they're willing to train us and teach us how to be good dog handlers, and that's beneficial with rescue as well. And we do have a partner with them, with NHS. We partner with them helping with dogs, and sometimes they'll reach out to us. I've also volunteered previously at the Senior Dog Sanctuary in Council Bluffs. That's a facility, and seniors are kind of my passion. Dogs that are seniors, or dogs that maybe have some medical anomalies or maybe not as adoptable as other dogs have always been my passion. I kind of think of it as the underdog, but it seems like in rescue, each of us have like our passion. Either you're a foster for puppies, or maybe it's the seniors, or maybe it's the kittens or the cats, or so everybody has their little niche and their passion, and then we all come together and save and rescue animals.
Right. That's awesome. So how long have you been a volunteer at this rescue with Muddy Paws?
I was thinking of that question. We found Greta, and I started fostering her, and we just actually lost her this year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, we had her almost 5 years. So
wow,
almost 5 years is how long I've been with Muddy Paws.
Okay, that's a long time. That's awesome. That's quite a commitment you got going there. How does your rescue obtain their rescue, or your association obtain their rescues?
Right. Muddy Paws actually gets animals in a variety of ways. We have an owner surrender program that we work with owners, and they post their dogs. We call them courtesy post. And so owners have to rehome their animals for whatever reason. And then we help them go through applications and kind of screen potential adopters, and then put the adopter together with the owner, and then Muddy Paws is a liaison with that process. So
that's awesome.
Okay. Yeah. And I feel like it's a fabulous program that we have, and we have a great team that does that. Couple of main players, Amber and Isaiah, that are just amazing with that. We also get pleas from the community. Of course, we have our phone 24/7. We take phone calls where we have an injured kitten, or maybe a dog that's just gone to the urgent care and it's been diagnosed with parvo, and the owners don't have the funds to pay for it, so they surrender it to us. Things like that. We also partnership with NHS, and we are one of the few rescues who are willing to and partner with NHS and take parvo dogs because they don't have the resources.
Right.
And it's very expensive to save them, but every
Mhm.
life is worth saving, and we really try when we can. There's also some dogs from the local shelters and not just NHS, but for example, I have a foster that came from a shelter in Tipton, Iowa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he was kind of a traveler with me, and he just had really poor kennel presentation. And so he came into rescue because of that. We also have dogs with medical needs, like my Greta, for example, was one of them. She was thrice returned from owners, and they just couldn't handle her medical needs. We ended up adopting her, and she had to go to a specialist and get some special care for her allergies. And so
Mhm.
and it took a long time to figure all that out for her. And then we also partner with different projects. One is the Artemis Project, and this is a group of people who, it's a nonprofit organization. They're mainly focused a little southern, south of us,
Mhm.
and they will go in and take animals from shelters that are either high kill shelters, or they will take animals that are unwanted, or maybe animals that have been abandoned, and they get vet care for them and then reach out to rescues. And not just us, there's other rescues in Omaha here that work with the Artemis Project too. And
Okay.
then we take intakes from them, so animals from them as well. And they're fabulous, wonderful animals
Mhm.
that just need that second chance, which
Right.
is, we call ourselves second chance rescue. They just need the opportunity to flourish and
Mhm.
to blossom in somebody's home.
Yeah, exactly. Now I know I had a post on our neighborhood app. A lady was trying to find somebody to take her dog that she couldn't take with her to when she moved, and I suggested a rescue, and everybody blew up my phone saying she already said she's not going to take her to a shelter, and I'm like, but associations are so much better, and this program you're talking about seems even better because it's not like they're surrendering it to you to find
Yeah.
a home. It's that she's like, the owner would be partnering with you guys to find a
Yeah.
home that they feel comfortable with as well.
Yes, and I think we're one of the few rescues, if
Mhm.
not only the only rescue who does that. I'm
Right.
not familiar with everybody else's programs, but yes, it's called the Courtesy Post Program. And we have a whole team that dedicates their volunteer hours to just
Mhm.
working with that. We have somebody that does assessments with those animals if needed. We have somebody that holds the three-way conversations. We have case managers. I'm a case manager. So if I have a potential applicant interested in a courtesy post dog, I do all the legwork first, make sure that everything checks out before we
Mhm.
even contact the owner. So we don't contact an owner with a bogus applicant. That doesn't.
Right. Right. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So for the most part, your rescues are local. Do you get from out of
For the,
states?
yeah, for the most part, but we do get animals like, for example, with that Artemis project, they come from many states. I myself have made some long drives. We've gone to the panhandle of Oklahoma to pick up a dog. We've driven to Hugo, Oklahoma to get a mommy out of she was kind of living in a backyard, gosh, it was like a shed with her. She had just delivered
No.
puppies, and nobody wanted her. And so we kind of do some road trips too to save animals. And that's sometimes risky, but it's also, beneficial. They're long trips, but definitely worth it. So yeah, we kind of, our outreach is everywhere. We do what we can do. If we
Okay.
have volunteers, if we have a foster home, if we can take the animal in, we will.
Right. That's awesome. What is the process, basically, your guys' process for adopting?
Sure, this is similar to a lot of rescues. We have an online application. They fill out that application. We try to screen those within 24 hours. Once they're screened, they're sent to a case manager, such as myself. We have 7 case managers. And all the case managers have like a certain niche as well. For example, some case manage puppy litters. I do puppy litters and German Shepherds. Some of our case managers case manage with small dogs because they're more familiar with them. That way, when we're working with an applicant and we're asking them questions for best fit, we can try to figure out what they need. So I'm familiar with German Shepherds, so I can help somebody who wants a German Shepherd.
Okay.
I can steer them away from that if I'm like, yeah, that's probably not what you're really wanting.
Right.
But anyway, so they fill out the application and we do a series of checks. We check personal references, we check vetting, prior historic vetting, we check landlords, we check home ownership, we check all of these pieces that are important for you to be a lifelong pet owner. And then we do home visits as well. And so that's important. We try to do them in person. With COVID, we've had to do many home visits virtually with Zooms, FaceTime, Google Duo.
Right.
And then we try to meet, if we do a virtual visit, we at least try to meet the family before an adoption occurs. And we like to meet all members of the family. All of this, we try to get done within 10 days.
Oh, okay. Well, that's quick. That's
Oh,
good.
I feel like it is, but I also
Oh, I
have
know.
feedback from applicants that other rescues do it quicker, but we are
Not that
all,
I've seen.
okay, we are all volunteers and we are just
Right.
working to try to get those applications
Right.
processed so that people aren't sitting there waiting, because we know when you're ready for a pet, you're ready for a pet and you're
Mhm.
excited.
Exactly. That's right. So your application process, then, is it an application to your association or is it per dog? Like I've had some, it's been per dog and some of it's been, no, we just keep your application active for so long.
Right. That's a good question. So they can apply, they can put down several dog names on the application. And then as we go through, the case manager can edit that for them. So I may have an applicant that starts with these 3 names, and in the process, either the dog's adopted or maybe it's a courtesy post dog that the owner decides to keep. Yay, we love it when that happens
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Maybe something changes and they contact us and say, hey, we can keep the dog. Or maybe the dog, like I said, is already adopted. So then we have the applicant go through the site, give me some more names. We can edit that
Okay.
for them. They don't have to keep reapplying. Some people think they do, and we end up
Right.
getting 4 or 5
Oh, sure.
applications per person. We just need one.
Yeah.
And it's actually good for 6 months. So we can place it
Okay.
on if need be.
Okay.
Well, sometimes we'll come back and say, okay, now I'm ready. Thanks for giving me that month. I had to take care of something.
Mhm.
And so ours are good for 6 months. Now, after 6 months, we would want to revisit some of those checks with that person, whether it's a
Right.
vet check, if they've adopted elsewhere, or if they've moved, we have to recheck that. Things like
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
So, what recommendations do you have for somebody who wants to adopt? Maybe they've never adopted before or it's their first pet.
Yeah, definitely read the bios. We try to put some very transparent bios on our webpage so that people understand what the dog needs. Research the breed that you're looking at. Is it a German Shepherd? Is it a cattle dog? Is it a lab? Be willing to invest the time that it takes to get the dog familiar with your home, because it's not an instantaneous overnight love affair sometimes.
Right.
And be patient. We have this rule of 3. It takes about 3 days for a dog to decompress. It can take 3 weeks for a dog to even understand and learn your schedule. And then 3 months for a dog to feel like it trusts you. So sometimes people are just consumed with that idea of getting that dog, and they want it to be like the neighbor who they see with their dog or their best friend. And so we just really have to take time with that. But we're there with you every step of the way. We don't walk away. We don't abandon you.
Okay.
Training. Muddy Paws is one of the few rescues also that offers training to our adopters. And we have some very high qualified trainers that can come in, Roberta, Julie, Terry, Isaiah. They can come in and help with some, if you're having, any concerns, we can come in and help with that. Even some of the case managers can help a little bit.
Right.
With some of those, and even the fosters will keep in contact with the applicant and say, oh, here's what helped me.
Right.
Really like it to be an ongoing partnership. And one of the other things we do is we have a alumni page, a Facebook alumni page. So they
Awesome.
can join. Yes. So if they adopt a puppy, and if all the puppy adopters join that alumni page, they often keep in touch with siblings. It's fun. They've even put together play dates on the alumni page.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really fun to watch and see people do that. So
Awesome.
those people are very invested, and they took their time. They put in the hard work to reap the rewards of being the pet owner.
Definitely. So what can somebody do if they've been denied? for
Yeah,
various reasons.
that's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. It kind of is dependent on the reason. If it's because, your pet isn't up to date on vaccinations, let's get that pet in and get it vaccinated and let's talk again. If
Okay.
it's because your landlord has restrictions, maybe you need to look at a different type of pet.
Okay.
So, it just really depends case by case on that situation.
Okay. I know that heartworm prevention is a big thing. And I know personally through the 2 years of COVID, people are just really taxed on money. I mean, it's like one of those things that have been probably put along the wayside as far as a necessity when everybody's just challenged financially, labor wise, etc. So what can you do? Because I know that's one of the questions. If one of the associations, it's when like they have to have proof for a year that you've been doing the heartworm.
You cut out a little bit, but
Okay,
I think
sorry.
you asked me about, heartworm
Right.
prevention.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry.
You were asking me about heartworm prevention. Yeah, good
Yes.
question. It's super important. And people think that, oh, my dog's inside all the time. You know what?
It's what I think.
Yeah, it takes one mosquito. And here's the deal. Heartworm treatment is painful for your dog. It's expensive.
Okay.
If you don't do the treatment, if your dog gets heartworm, if your dog's heartworm positive and you don't treat, it's potentially going to kill your dog. So most vets have that jar in their office where they have the heart full of the worms, just to show you, to give you that visual. It's super important because it happens. And I know a vet that I went to years ago in South Omaha, she used to put like a little pin on the map for addresses. She had a blown up map of Omaha, and every time during the summer a dog came in, or whenever a dog came in, she would put a pin in there and it was full. Okay. So, heartworm is happening. Yeah. Heartworm is happening right here in Omaha, Nebraska. And you can't be fooled by thinking my dog goes out and goes potty and comes right back in when it's hot or when the mosquitoes are out. Now some people do, some vets will test every 2 years if you keep on their medication. Sometimes you can order online and get discounts. Sometimes like I order a year and then I get like a refund or a rebate.
Okay.
Type of thing. There's all kinds of options. I used to always wait until it was like tax return time. And I always committed. I was like, okay, I'm going to use my tax return for my annual heartworm. So it's just important that they have that. And I know it can be expensive and you think that's one thing that you can put aside, but really you're truly risking your dog's future by doing that.
Right. So let's talk about pricing.
Sure.
Yeah. What are you guys, how is your pricing determined, and kind of ballpark it? You don't have to put all the price lists. I know that some older dogs and younger dogs are different price sometimes. So.
Older dogs are usually, I want to say, between $260, $350. Puppies are around $465. It depends on the breed. I've seen some puppies $500-$600. So it depends on breed, medical needs. If we know this dog has medical needs, can go both ways. If this dog had medical needs and we've spent tens of thousands of dollars on it, obviously we're not going to recoup that money, but we want to know that the person adopting it can continue that. So we don't want that dog's adoption fee to be $200 either. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
On the other hand, if we have, for example, when I adopted Greta and I paid her adoption fee, I remember, talking to the powers that be, and we talked about her lifelong needs for allergy meds and how expensive that was going to be. And that kind of affected the price that they gave me to take care of Greta, because they knew she was in good hands, but they also knew she was going to require a lot of medicine in her lifetime. But definitely the breed, the age. Puppies are always the most expensive. And I think that's pretty generic with shelters or, rescues, but it also depends, like I said, on the breed, the age, and the medical needs in the future.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome.
I feel like it's fair. I really do feel like the pricing is fair.
It's, from the sounds of it, your prices are a little lower than some.
Okay.
So that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Let's see. So basically the other question was, where do the funds go? But that's to medical and vaccinations, things like that.
Yes. And one thing I want people who are listening to know is our vetting costs for 2021 were $207,000.
Wow.
$207,000.
That's a lot.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Yeah.
Exactly.
So we're 100% volunteer. Nobody gets any money. We all donate our time, whether it's an hour a week or 30 hours a week.
Okay.
It's all our, I spend my own gas to go do things
Mhm.
sometimes. And the people that take care of the funds for our rescue are very generous and offer things. I tend to say, no, thank you. Consider that a donation from me.
Right.
So that it can help the rescue some more. But yes, all of our adoption fees go right back into this pool to help save lives.
Okay. Perfect.
Mhm.
Um, so what happens? Let's just say somebody can't adopt, but they want to be involved. What can they do?
Oh my gosh, we have so many opportunities. We have our meet and greet events. So we always need hands on there, greeting
Okay.
people, talking to them, explaining how the application process works. So that's one thing. We have something called our applications team where you call and check on references, or you call the local vets and check on, vet care that a person
Mhm.
has provided for their animal. We have a social media team. So
Oh,
if you're
awesome.
a person that loves similar to what you're doing,
Yeah.
we love people that want to come in with their camera and participate in the social media exploration. Photographers, we have people that write the bios if you like
Oh,
to
nice.
write. So a lot of these things, right? A lot of these things can be done right from your computer in your own home. You don't even have to spend any gas money or go anywhere.
Right. Exactly.
Right. So we have so many opportunities for people. We also need help with, fosters. We always need fosters. And
Mhm.
we have a great intake person. Stacy is in charge of all of our fosters, and she works really hard matching a foster to your home.
Okay.
So she probably has, a lot of us joke, she has the hardest job and the least desirable job
Mhm.
that there is and trying to get to know families and homes, and then being able to place a dog or a cat or a guinea pig,
Mhm.
whatever the animal is, into somebody's home so that it's a good fit, so that animal can stay there and be fostered until it's adopted. And it's truly a difficult job that she makes it look really
Mhm.
easy. And she's really good at it.
Well,
So,
that's good because I would have thought that just, hey, I'll take some foster dogs and you drop a couple of them off at me, but
no,
it's nice to know that
no,
there's a process.
there is a process, right? We want to know how many kids are in the home. Is your home high traffic, low traffic? Are you home during the day? Do you work long hours? Can you kennel?
Mhm.
Can you keep a dog separate until it decompresses?
Right.
There's a lot of pieces, and I probably didn't even begin to touch, the tip of the iceberg with the questions or the discussion that she has with the fosters. But just from being a foster myself, I know that those are all points that I
Mhm.
consider when I take in a dog. So.
Right. Okay, that's awesome. Um, what if a dog's, I know there are dogs that are unadoptable. I've seen it all the time. What is your guys' process for an unadoptable dog?
And so I was thinking about that question and I wasn't sure what you meant about unadoptable. Sometimes we have dogs that come in that are medically fragile, and
Hmm.
we have particular fosters that can help take care of them. I've taken care of a couple of medically fragile dogs, and
Hmm.
they've stayed with me until their end came. We have some dogs that have specific behavior needs. And again, we have fosters that can help with them.
Okay.
Dogs, once in a while, we have dogs that come in that have been through trauma. And I'm a teacher, so just like students that go through
Right.
trauma and they may have some extra needs within the classroom setting, we have dogs and cats, animals that come in that have faced trauma. Sometimes we don't know what the trauma was, sometimes we do. And then experienced fosters can help with
Hmm.
those.
Okay.
I happen to have a long-term forever foster that kind of was considered unadoptable, and my husband has
Hmm.
just been a delight with her. And so she is now in her forever spot so that she can be safe and
That's
loved
awesome.
until the end of her time. So we do need more fosters like that, of course, because those are the ones that are hard to find.
Hmm.
But
Right.
several of our fosters in rescue do have some of those medically fragile, or some of the dogs that have faced a little more trauma might be a little more difficult to be their
Hmm.
handler.
Okay.
But they're still worth saving.
Oh,
So
yeah,
your
definitely.
life is worth saving. And so we're willing to give it a try if we can.
Right. That's awesome. So, another question, does all the money in your rescue come from adoption of rescues, or are there fundraisers that you guys do, or just donations online, or?
There is an online donation button. I'm not sure how much people use that.
Okay.
We do have like a collection, like a little kitty cup collection, donations here at every meet and greet. It's
Okay.
I'm not sure how much that collects either. We do. Last year, we were fortunate to be part of something called a Boo Bash, where some people put on a pretty phenomenal fundraiser for us.
Okay.
And that was amazing. We'll repeat that this year. We do an online auction. which is fun. And we
Mhm.
have people helping with that, and we collect money that way. We do get, sometimes when people adopt from us, say the fee is $465, they send us $500.
Okay.
They tack on a little extra,
Yeah.
round up. That's kind of
Right.
nice. We're always, of course, any nonprofit is always appreciative of any donation, whether it's $5 or $500.
Mhm.
And so that's a big need that with COVID, like you said, money is tight right now, the inflation. I know you
Yeah.
go to the grocery
Gas
store. I'm like,
prices.
yes, just everything right now feels like it's expensive. And
Mhm.
so, we don't want to beg. We're not like that.
Right.
But we are so appreciative to the community and everything. And
Mhm.
time is invaluable. So if you're a foster, if you're a volunteer, that's worth its weight in gold. So if you
Right.
can't donate, I understand that. I couldn't either. And
Right.
that's why I said, how can I help in other ways? Because I
Mhm.
don't have a lot of extra funds to give out, but I can give love, and I can
Right.
offer my home, and I can
Mhm.
do interviews like this to get our name,
And we very
out
appreciate.
there,
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, for
What do
sure.
you feel is the biggest need? If anybody said, what can I do for you right now? What would your biggest need be? Because I know we mentioned once before, food,
Yes.
money. I mean, like, what would be your
Obviously,
biggest need?
those are my two big ones, food, money. Our food supplier recently had to put the halt, just because of the economy and things that are going on their donations to our food pantry. So we
Mhm.
have a couple of great volunteers as well that house food at their house. And then
Okay.
fosters can go like shop for free to get things
Okay.
for their foster dogs. So we posted something on Facebook the other day, and it was amazing, the community's
Oh,
response.
good.
We had Amazon packages just being dropped off at this person's house with, food,
Mhm.
because that's important. And we don't have a ton of dogs on special diet needs, but there's a couple. But anyway, money is definitely good, because sometimes a rescue or a nonprofit can take those funds and work with a community of resource, and sometimes get a discount. And then that money that you donated might go further than if you just went into the store and bought it yourself. So,
Right. Yeah.
always money is appreciated, but anything like, dog toys and dog treats, and
Oh,
people
yeah.
bring blankets and things like that, and they'll donate those at the meet and greet. So those are nice too. I can tell you, we have a ton of leashes and collars that I feel like,
Probably.
just the last time we kind of went through storage, I feel like we have enough leashes and collars for every rescue in Omaha. So somewhere
Mhm.
down the line, somebody donated a bunch at one time.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Is
Yeah.
there anything else you can think of that you would like to add to this interview?
Just that Muddy Paws is all about community outreach. We want to help dogs stay in the home if they can. That's why we provide training. And when people call and they have a concern, we try to screen it with them and say, how can we help you help your animal, dog, cat, whatever it is, stay in the
Mhm.
home? What can we do to support you? Because we're about saving lives. However, if that just can't work out, we're also here to help you courtesy post your animal to try to find it a new home, and we'll do that legwork for you.
Good.
We have a foster, we'll take a dog, cat, guinea pig, fish, whatever it is, into the home. We've had a variety. I think we just had some geckos on our site not long ago
I
too.
think you did. And part of
Yes,
me wanted to say, my
turtles,
son wanted a dragon, whatever you call it,
a
those
bearded
when he,
dragon.
yes, when he was little.
Yes.
We're just like, no, we're not going there. But
Yeah,
yeah, I saw
so
that on there. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
yeah, and we're just a big community. We have hundreds of volunteers, whether you can volunteer an hour a week or 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 30 hours a week. And it ebbs and flows. We have busy times.
Mhm.
There's times when I'm, 20 or 30 hours this week. There's times where I'm like, wow, I only really spent 5 hours this week doing my applications.
Wow.
But if you want to volunteer and get to know some great people who truly love animals and really just want to save lives in the community, and reach out to, Council Bluffs, Papillion, Bellevue,
Mhm.
Omaha, the outskirts of Omaha. And like I said, traveling and taking animals in from every place that we possibly can, if we can help, help.
Mhm.
And if
Awesome.
you want to be a part of that, we'd love to have you. And we have a
Awesome.
volunteer application. That volunteer application is just like the application.
Okay.
Your daughter must be home.
Yes.
You
What
said it
was
would
your, I know, what was your
happen.
first clue? Okay. Thank you so much for your time. We all really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Teresa. I hope that this helps somebody fall in love with Muddy Paws and come say hi to us or come volunteer with us.
That's awesome.